So in March, the median price of a home in Las Vegas hit $450,000. That's nearly $100,000 more than it was before the COVID-19 pandemic. But the one thing that not a lot of people have been reporting on is the price of rents in the Valley and how difficult it is for people to actually get housing out here. My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. This is Princess Sage, who's decided to join us, and we're going to talk about this. If you're moving here, let this be your warning that you probably don't want to move here unprepared, because you might find yourself in a lick of hurt. Fox 5 Las Vegas is reporting about a teacher who is basically homeless now, living out of her car because her rent went up and she couldn't afford it, so she spent nearly $1,000 on rental applications. And at the end of the day, because she didn't have the greatest credit and because she doesn't have the greatest job, she was rejected over $1,000 of applications. Now, it's a serious thing, and a lot of people are calling for rent controls, this kind of stuff in the Valley. I don't know that rent controls are the solution, but there has to be something that has to be done. We don't have a lot of affordable housing out here, so that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Everybody wants to move to Vegas lately. The city is basically sprung back to life, and there is a ton of jobs and employment opportunities out here. Everywhere you go, you'll see a sign on a door that says now hiring. A lot of fast food places are hiring as starting wages as high as $15 an hour. I think Starbucks pays people $18 an hour. Now, the detractors out there will say, yeah, but that's for part-time employment and so on and so forth. And maybe it is, but it's something. And if you took two part-time jobs worth $18, then you're better off than a lot of places in the country. But what are the median prices? And it's important not to say average prices, because the median is what sits in the middle. 7, I looked it up earlier, and you know what? Darn it. Have to look it up again, because as you can hear, I don't have COVID, but I do have a bit of a sinus infection and my head is in a loop. $1,500 for a single bedroom, and a 2-bedroom unit is $1,700. That's what your rents are going to be if you come here. So if you're coming here, make sure that you come prepared. Make sure you be prepared for the fact that you're going to have to put in applications. You might want to secure a place before you even get here. And it's become more and more difficult to do that. We'll give you some tips and tricks on that kind of stuff while you're out here. Have you been impacted by the rent and housing crisis out here in the Valley? My wife and I were 2 years ago. I'll share that story with you at the end of this video. If I haven't mentioned it already, my name's Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. Throw us a subscription if you like this kind of a video. Sorry that I sound so rough, but this is something that I felt the inspiration to talk about here on the channel. If you guys want to help our channel out, check out our channel sponsors. Pinay Magazine over on Instagram. Pinay Magazine is actually an Ethereum 2.0 validator company. They have a goal of showcasing the global Pinay to the world. And a Pinay is a woman of Filipino origin. They first issue will have Pinays from North America, showing my age. Future issues will have Pinays from the EU, the GCC group of countries. That's places in the Middle East like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and so on and so forth. The UK, everywhere else. Filipinas are everywhere on this planet Earth. They buy the side of Resorts World 1 week out of every month of the year. That's where their Vegas connection comes from. And speaking of Pinays, my wife Caroline has Caroline's Paper Blooms. That's what she did before the face masks, before the pandemic started. A custom, one-of-a-kind, handmade from the first cut of paper to the last assembly to the putting them in the mail for you. They are truly gorgeous. Go to carolinespaperblooms.com for more, or check us out on Instagram and Facebook. And everything you do with my wife goes back to to her family, our family over in the Philippines. So we do pay it back a great deal. All right. So a teacher who was looking for housing spent $1,000 on applications. First thing is first, when you put an application in Las Vegas, it doesn't mean anything. They can reject it no matter what. They can basically give you a set of minimum requirements that are not even realistic and take your money for the application, because the person that has the property makes money off of the rental applications. They're processing the applications. A lot of the times they are running background checks on people to make sure that they don't have all sorts of criminality in their background. But then you got to remember that it's not too difficult to go to one of these background check websites and buy the pro version of it for $80 a month or something like that, and run 1,000 different background checks a month. It's basically a moneymaker for the property, and that's okay. I mean, that's capitalism, right? But then it gets to be excessive, where a couple of years back, Caroline and I were looking for a place because the place we were in, the homeowners were selling. And when it boiled right down to it, we found one place that we really liked. We asked them, and we set our situation on credit. We told them what it was all about. We said, do we have a shot? They said, yes. I went on Facebook and looked at the reviews. Turns out that they say yes to everybody. And people with similar situations to ours were rejected resoundingly. People with better situations with ours were rejected. And one person heard it from somebody that was showing them the property that, yeah, they just take applications from anybody. So be very, very careful. Maybe you want to get with somebody out here, a professional rent property that puts people in places. A lot of realtors right now are not dealing with rentals because the market is so hot for real estate. So whereas before you could find a realtor that would be willing to help you, and we had some great realtors that helped us years ago, not so much now. Not so much now, because the realtors want to sell properties for whatever they make. They split 6% two ways, 3%. They'd rather make 3% of $400,000 than they would, a couple $100 for putting you in a rental place. And, so I understand that too. But the prices are going up. So then the solution, what is the solution? And the solution really is to open up and build more affordable housing for people. And the pandemic, obviously, you might say, well, that slowed it down. That did not slow it down. As a matter of fact, construction out here in the Valley was full blast. Governor Steve Sisolak is basically credited in my books. I don't like the guy and his policies much, but he's credited with saying that real estate and construction were essential jobs. And the reason he did that, though, was because every time a home sale occurs, there is a payment from the home sale that goes into the county's treasury, and the county grows their coffers that way. And without having any kind of tourism back then, we weren't making any money off of gaming or tourism or live entertainment taxes, so he had to make the money somewhere. So that's not the excuse. Going back, maybe 2008 was the excuse when we had our big meltdown and money was really hard to get your hands on and a lot of people just kind of clammed up. That is most likely what happened. The fact also, too, that a lot of people are moving here from California, and Californians can sell their home and buy 2 or 3 here. But the bigger thing is lots of big corporations are coming in and snapping up companies in the, homes in the Sun Belt. There's one called Tricom Global out of Canada. They own 80,000 homes all throughout the United States, Southwest and Southeast, into Florida, Atlanta, Arizona, California, Nevada, Texas, New Mexico, you name it. That's because people want to move into these areas because it's sunny most of the year and we don't have much weather. If you're in California, you might have to deal with earthquakes, but for the most part, it's much better and cheaper to live here, so far at least, than it is to live in New York State or Michigan or anywhere else. So you have a competitive market. Adding to that, you have people that are millennials that are getting out of school. They're starting careers. People are working from home a lot more, so they do not need to be close to their work. They can just work wherever they want. So they can move to a city like Las Vegas where they're young and they can avail and take advantage of the entertainment that's on offer here. They can work from their home on a high-speed internet connection from anywhere. So why not come to Vegas, right? So far, the homes here are relatively cheap. I think I mentioned in this video, $450,000 for a single home that you might purchase. But the rentals just haven't kept up pace. So if you are coming here, make sure you get with somebody ahead of time, ahead of schedule. Make sure you get yourself placed. There are places out here with the word suites on them, budget suites, Siegel suites, Emerald suites. If you're going to those places, be very, very careful. Look at the reviews of them because some of them are in less desirable neighborhoods, but some of them are more expensive and they're more for business class folks. You might even get with a business class type hotel, talk to the manager, see if you can go on a long term with that person while you are coming out here to look for a place to live on a proper lease in a residential type of neighborhood. That might be an option too. I worked at a hotel at one point years ago, back in the early 2000s, and we would have people that would come in and say, look, I have a 6-month work contract. I would like to rent, a unit with a kitchenette, a separate bedroom, and so on and so forth. What is the price you can give me on that? That's another option for you too. All of these places are checking credit. They're checking their income. They're checking everything. The way to fix all this, even if you have bad credit, is to have 4 times the down payment for the move-in expenses. So if it was $1,500, you might need $6,000. I know it sounds like a lot of money, but you think about your housing situation. Some things are basically priceless, right? So Princess has left. We're going to leave. Sorry about my raspy voice. We should be out for First Friday tonight. I'm not really contagiously sick. It's just a head cold that's gone into my chest. I love you all for watching. Let me know your comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're just browsing through. And we're out of here. We're going to say 3, 2, 1, and click.